Thank you all for coming tonight. Tonight I'm going to speak to you about what's called genetically modified organisms. It's a pretty hot button topic right now. But I'd like for you to imagine, if you would, a small Asian village, much like what you see in the Vietnam movies. Imagine in that village a small child. Their main staple of food is rice. The problem with rice is it's very low in vitamin A. There's actually a disease called vitamin A deficiency. It causes blindness. It's estimated that between 250,000 and 500,000 children each year lose their sight because of vitamin A deficiency. So what if scientists developed a special seed of rice that would eliminate this vitamin A deficiency? It has been made, but it's currently undergoing some scrutiny. I have conducted very extensive research regarding this. I've looked at several articles published by major institutes of higher learning and by highly respected news magazines. Tonight I'd like to educate you on the misinformation that is out there about genetically modified organisms, give you a few examples of the studies that have been done, and give you a few true-false scenarios to wrap things up with. First, what is a genetically modified organism? According to dictionary.com, a GMO is any organism whose genome has been altered by the techniques of genetic engineering so that its DNA contains one or more genes not normally found there. This includes corn, rice, soybean, cotton, just to name a few. In North America, over 80% of the foods we eat contain GMOs. So GMOs have been given a bad rap with very little supporting evidence to back this up. GMOs have been linked to cause new allergies. According to GMO Answers, which is an initiative of the Council of Biotechnology Information, they have found no substantial link between GMOs and new allergies. GMOs have also been incorrectly linked to cancer. The MD Anderson Center for Cancer Center at the University of Texas, after doing extensive research, has found no link between cancer and GMOs. As we know, today anything can be said about anything with little or no evidence to back it up. This is where we actually have to look at things ourselves, take a deeper look, peel back the surfaces and see. With GMOs, multiple studies have been done all around the world. Thousands, as a matter of fact, have been done. Over 2,000 individual studies have been done just on the safety of human consumption. Joanne Wendell, who is a contributing writer at the Genetic Literacy Project, she wrote, "Every major international science body in the world has reviewed multiple independent studies, coming to the consensus conclusion that GMO crops are as safe or safer than conventional or even organic foods." A University of California Davis Department of Animal Studies has reviewed over 29 years of livestock production and found not one instance where a GMO has caused a health-related problem. The study looked at over 100 billion animals, covering a period just before 1996, before GMOs were introduced as a feed source for livestock. This study continued on to a point where about 90% of the animal's feed come from genetically modified feed. They found that the genetically modified feed is completely safe and is equal to the non-genetically modified feed. They also found no negative health aspects in the animals since 1996 when GMO crops were first harvested. Considering the size of this study, one can reasonably assume that there are no health impacts. Misinformation can very well lead to mankind's ultimate demise in this case. If this information is continually put forth as scientific fact, we can lose one of mankind's finest achievements to mere scaremongering. A GMO antagonist would have us believe that the GMOs will ruin our food supply, that cross-pollination will ultimately make the organic or natural products sterile. This has been proven false. In truth, a UC Riverside scientist, Alan McHogan, stated, if Europe and the United States banned GMOs outright, it would probably not cause a huge impact, apart from an increase in the price of our food. A lot of U.S. farmers might be pissed, though, because 90% of them who can farm GMO products do be a major loss to their income. Poorer countries, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, wouldn't get by without GMO technology. Products such as drought-resistant seeds would provide huge benefits to these countries. You can see why sub-Saharan Africa is one of the driest places on the planet. These seeds are able to grow with very little water. When these seeds are able to grow, the people are able to eat. But the larger issue is not about the GMOs themselves. It's the fact that technology scares people. McEwen and a fellow scientist at UC Riverside, Norm Elstrin, commenting on technology, they both said, people don't like the idea of something as visceral and basic as the food supply being controlled by companies. We can all agree with that. They go on to question, is it appropriate in our multicultural democratic society to have the food supply controlled by a handful of companies? Here's an opportunity for discussion that gets sidetracked by the safety issues because people are much more concerned about safety than they are about these socioeconomic issues. Elstrin wraps up the discussion by adding, we've got a lot of problems in this world. We shouldn't just arbitrarily lock away certain tools such as genetic engineering, just as we just have to be mindful of how we use these tools. What I hope to do here is persuade you to not take what I say as gospel, and definitely not take what the mainstream media has to say either as fact. Remember that little village I spoke of at the beginning? Well, I'm happy to report that several Asian companies have pushed past the misinformation and looked at the issues in an unbiased way. They have allowed the use of genetically modified seeds into their food supply. They are also backing up what thousands of studies have found and thereby showing the rest of the world that it's possible when it comes to genetically modified foods. What this all boils down to is this. Don't believe what I tell you. Don't believe what your local news anchor tells you. Educate yourself. Look at what is out there and decide for yourself what is fact and what is fiction. Will the science of genetically modified foods one day be mankind's greatest achievements? With open minds, it most certainly can be. Thank you.